everybody. It's Mark here from the Don't Say the F Word podcast, and we are live here on Instagram. We are going to be talking about everything going on from the week. We are waiting for the big guy and his illegal brother-in-law Joe to get on here. In the meantime, we're listening to some Bomb Shelter FM. If you're in the older demographic, big guy and his illegal brother-in-law are in their 40s. So they like older music. They're not that hip, but that's not really important right now. We're just gonna jam out for a few minutes. All right, everybody. Joe's here. Hey, Joe.
You ass. Talking about I'm old.
Well, I mean, you and the big guy, you guys are older, so you like music like this. You ever check out Bomb Shelter FM? Here, it's playing behind me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's for all you old heads. You know, you geriatric folk in your 40s.
Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I could listen to my 90s, so I'm okay. Don't hate.
Do you know how old I am, Joe?
What you are, 15?
I don't really know. Probably like 8. I think I'm 8. Is 8 taken? Can I be 8?
I don't think 8 is taken, but you can be 8. Go ahead, be 8.
All right, I think I'm going to be 8.
I think 15 fits you better. 15 fits you better.
Yeah, 15? I mean, I could probably be 15, but, I mean, I am getting face hair.
Yeah, go at 15. You got the deep voice for a 15-year-old, too.
Yeah, but that's mostly because I yell a lot.
No comment to that, but...
All right. I'm going to get the big guy. Big guy.
Big guy. There we go, big guy.
So, can you hear me?
I hear you. My dad beeping there. That's all.
All right. So, welcome, everyone, and thank you for checking out the Don't Say the F Word podcast. Me, my illegal brother-in-law, Joe, and our boy, Mark, are here going to go over some of the stuff that's happened this week in the world of pro wrestling. We already were here once this week. We talked about Raw. We predicted some things for Dynamite. What I didn't predict, I did not predict the Four Pillars promo.
We both were close, though. We both was close.
We were close. I mean, I did say Darby. I said Darby, but
I did say remember JS. It was close.
So I did an article about, we're on our website, link in the bio here, go to our stories, there's links to this article. Before we just dig into AEW this week, is AEW back on track?
I say the first hour they on track, but when it gets to that second, it's like a sweet, like you just don't know.
So for me, I feel like I've been hypercritical of AEW lately.
More than lately, but carry on.
Listen, I'm an AEW fan. I am. I really, truly am. I mean, I got a Matt Jackson. I got a Cody Rhodes back there. Me and Mindy, we've gone to Pittsburgh for AEW. We've gone to Columbus for AEW. Now, granted, we did travel to Nashville for WWE, but I hit an AEW live show whenever I can. I got AEW merch aplenty. I was watching day one. I'm very excited in 2019 when they said AEW was going to be a thing. So if anyone who thinks that my criticisms of AEW as of late come from a place of not being an AEW fan, you are sadly, sadly mistaken. I am an AEW fan, which is why I'm so critical of AEW as of late.
I feel you're right. You're right.
This past Wednesday's Dynamite, I thought was really, really good, comparatively speaking, to everything AEW has done in the last 6 to 8 months. It felt like the AEW of old. That's why the meme I put up, that's why the header image of the article was Cody looking at the Elite and Hangman in the ring, and he's smiling. Because I feel like this past Dynamite is the first time a Dynamite felt like a Cody Rhodes era Dynamite.
I'll go with that.
I feel like things had a purpose.
Yes.
I feel like we were already laying the groundwork for the next pay-per-view, which is in May,
May.
I believe.
27th.
Double or Nothing tonight,
27th.
right?
Wait, no.
29th?
27th is the Money in the Bank.
Let me look it
I
up.
think it's June. I think it's in June.
Look it up. I'm pretty sure it was May 29th when I wrote the article. Now I can't remember. I don't want to be wrong here.
I know one of them is the 27th. One of them is on the 27th. I know offhand which one it is.
Double or Nothing, May 28th, T-Mobile Arena.
There you go.
So it's March. We're 2 months away, and they're laying the groundwork for the pay-per-view. The last pay-per-view, Revolution. I felt like we were going into the last AEW pay-per-view with really like no real story beats being hit. I felt like we had some established things that were going to happen, and then we were throwing things together in like the last like weeks before. Like Jungle Boy and Christian Cage was thrown onto that pay-per-view a week before.
Week before, yeah, it was.
So, and I feel like, and I have said it so many times, that lately AEW has lacked coherency, if that's a word. That might not be a word, but it hasn't been coherent. Stories haven't made sense. Things have just kind of happened, which was my criticism of WWE for many years. Certainly, if you go back, just prior to the Triple H era, things in WWE didn't make sense. It just happened.
I'll say 17 through 19 things didn't make good enough sense.
Yeah. I won't criticize the pandemic era of any wrestling promotion very much because they were learning how to do their business in a very different world. But you go back 2019, there's a reason crowds were chanting AEW during WWE pay-per-views because WWE's pay-per-views weren't making any sense. And I think AEW, since the CM Punk and Elite incident happened, I feel like AEW hasn't really made sense. And I'm willing to go back a little further, and I'm willing to say that after Cody left, things felt like they were kind of falling apart. And I truly believe Cody Rhodes was booking the show.
Well, you got to think about it. He came from his daddy was like the big producer on like not every wrestling brand. He was the producer on every show.
Dusty Rhodes had a hand in everything. And I don't think that the story can be told that it was Tony Khan, and I will never believe it because the show is immensely different today than it was when Cody was there. So if anyone's trying to tell me Tony Khan was putting those story arcs together, Tony Khan was booking that show in 2019, I'm willing to call them a liar. Even if there's someone who should be in the know, I don't believe them. I think that's a work because the show is completely different today than it was then.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. See, I try to get into it, but it's just like I say the past 2 weeks it's slowly coming back up, slowly, but it's not catching my attention just yet. But
I think there are still things that are a little busted, and there's always going to be because of the nature of what they did for a certain talent. There's always going to be things that are going to be a little busted. The international title, they could put it on Jeff Jarrett.
They didn't put it on it. That was good. He didn't put it on it. It was
They
good.
should have. He should have gotten it. Why would you not have put a title on Jeff Jarrett? You changed the name of the title. Why would you not change hands? I don't understand. What good does that belt do for Orange Cassidy?
It don't do Jeff Jarrett no good neither.
It does, though. If Jeff Jarrett would have that belt, you would want someone to win that belt. Heels make better champions, man. They always have.
I know.
Especially a dipshit heel like Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, but
He's a guy people love to hate just because he's Jeff Jarrett. We still dislike him from WCW. We still dislike him from Listen Up Slapnuts.
Hey, don't bring Slapnuts was pretty good. Now that was pretty good. Yeah, that was good.
But we still dislike him from that entire era of pro wrestling. So why would you not put that title on it? That title means nothing. And it will always mean nothing as long as Orange Cassidy's the guy with it, because nobody wants to see somebody be Orange Cassidy for it. You got to have a heel carry the title, so you want to see a baby face get the title.
Orange Cassidy is a star. Even if you don't say jack shit, he's a star.
Yeah, exactly.
He got the fans.
Exactly. Which is exactly why he doesn't need a world title or an international title. He doesn't need it. It doesn't make him. He was already made. He got the Jericho rub when the Jericho rub made sense. Orange Cassidy is a made man. He's a good star. He doesn't need to hold the title for a lengthy amount of time because it's not like he alone can't make that title prestigious. You need a rivalry to make a new title matter. Cody Rhodes made the TNT title matter because he defended it. He did the open challenge. And then him and Brody Lee had their, I'm going to call it a micro feud because it didn't get expanded upon because of Brody's tragic death. But had that could that have been carried out like I would imagine Cody was booking it too? Because I don't think Tony Khan was booking that. I think Cody booked that. I think you would have seen that be a feud. I think we would have talked about that feud that we talked about Austin and Rock. I think that feud would have mattered a lot, and which would have made that title really matter even more than it does. Right now, that international title, nothing's made it matter. You need a strong heel to make that title matter because people will want to chase that title to take it out of that heel's hands. And then people will want to see that, and they will the international title is not going to put butts in the seats. But people will at least have an interest in that segment of the program, which is clearly going to be the opening match every week of Dynamite. It's going to be the international title, whether it's on international soil or not. That's going to be the opener. You need someone to open the show with that, who can cut a good promo, who can antagonize and heat up a crowd, both in the arena and at home. And everyone wants to see them get their ass beat. Roddy Piper sold more tickets to WrestleMania 1 than Hulk Hogan did because everybody wanted to see Hulk Hogan kick Roddy Piper's ass.
That is true. That is true.
Who's more Roddy Piper right now? Not MJF. MJF's beyond that. Jeff Jarrett's kind of Roddy Piper.
In AEW or WWE, who's more than Roddy Piper?
No WWE is Roddy Piper except for maybe The Miz because Miz is just even. Roddy Piper had a great quote. And I don't know if you're going to remember this, but Roddy Piper's quote, it was on, and I remember this distinctly because it was on the back of the Roddy Piper trading card that came with the WWF Superstars ice cream bar. And the quote was, "When I'm good, but when I'm bad, I'm better."
Yeah, I did
When
forget.
Roddy Piper was a good guy babyface, he was really good. Everybody liked Roddy Piper. He was the hot rod.
Mm,
But when he was a heel,
yeah,
Roddy Piper was a very special talent. Jeff Jarrett can never be a babyface in pro wrestling at this stage of his career.
I know.
Those days are long gone for Jeff Jarrett to be a babyface. But Jeff Jarrett's a natural born heel. He's so unlikable. Why would you not give him your throwaway title? It doesn't have to be defended all the time. The matches don't have to be hard hitting and ultra physical for a man his age. All that stuff is easily done with Jeff Jarrett as champion, and people will want to see someone beat him. And he has running buddies who can help him cheat to win. That
That's
belt
why they
you put on Jeff Jarrett.
he should put on Jay
Winnipeg was the
Lethal.
spot to do it.
Jay Lethal should take it. That's my pick. Jay Lethal should take it from him. That's if Jay Lethal goes to ROH. I don't know what show he's gonna be on, but if I had to pick, I would say Jay Lethal should take it.
Man, you could do Jay Lethal. You could do Scorpio Sky.
He's talking about,
Heel Scorpio Sky could be the international champion.
yeah, but he ain't back from his little injury just yet.
He also doesn't cut a great promo. But I like the guy. You need someone who can just really be disliked as a champion carrying that belt, because you need people to want to see someone defend that title, because that title doesn't mean a damn thing.
Then I say this is drop the FTW and give it to Hook. Hook will probably do it, but
You know,
he don't do no talking. He don't do no talking. That's on the downside. He don't do no promos and nothing.
it actually upsets me the degree at which I hate the FTW title. You remember how big of an ECW fan I was
You would,
when we were in high school.
I do remember that. Yes, I do.
I was the ECW dork.
Yes, I can't even find out what happened.
I love Taz. Everything about Taz's gimmick in ECW, the persona of being the MMA guy, later I became the MMA guy. But that whole thing, he was the anti-establishment with FTW on his hand wraps and making his own world title. That was the perfect anti-establishment of a promotion that was the anti-establishment, and it was so good. Hook having the FTW title should have worked out so well had they not devalued it out the gate by having it be passed around Team Taz.
Yeah, that's the downside.
They should have held off. They should have just waited. And I don't know, maybe Hook hadn't decided he was going to be a pro wrestler yet. And if Brian Cage would have kept it, that would have been great, because Brian Cage looks like a guy who should be the FTW champion. Because he looks like he should be the world champion. And if he's not getting those opportunities, then yeah, he should be carrying around the FTW title. Ricky Starks.
No, he had his run. He good. He had his run with it. I'm okay with it. He had his run. He did all right with it, but he don't need that belt. He didn't need it.
No, he didn't. And they really promote. They're doing a good job by Ricky Starks in promoting Ricky in a way that I think is actually creating Ricky Stark fans. Kudos to Ricky coming back from a broken neck and performing and doing good. I wish they wouldn't have wasted Ricky Starks and MJF's feud to be so short-lived and use all the great MJF material against Ricky Starks at a time frame whenever I don't think it was necessary to do the Ricky Stark MJF feud.
Okay. Yeah.
Because calling Ricky Starks the Pebble was gold and should have been done whenever it was leading to a reasonable matchup and a good feud once Ricky was more established to be in the main event role. Because clearly he is the Pebble. He's hitting all of Rock's beats. He's dressing like The Rock. He's trying to cut promos like The Rock. It's without the he doesn't have the creativity. He's never going to have the one-liners. Ricky Starks is not going to come up with his own Rudy Poo candy yet. He's not gonna.
No.
But MJF calling him the Pebble and MJF pointing those things out. MJF talking about Ricky Starks wrestling on YouTube and NWA. All of that promo work should have been saved for whenever Ricky Starks was ready to be the guy in the main event. Which again leads me to the booking in AEW feels very rushed at times and doesn't make a lot of sense, which tells me that Tony Khan likes to rush things and have things not make a lot of sense, where I think if Cody were still booking that program, that would have had time to breathe. It would have been a longer story. It would have been long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to get back to that, though, with the Four Pillars promo. I don't think we're going to build to this big – I don't think we're going to get a four-way match. At least I hope we don't.
I think it might be a fatal four-way. It sounds like it's going to be a fatal four-way.
It does, but I think if we do a fatal four-way, we're wasting the four-pillar story.
So
MJF should work the rest of this year. Every pay-per-view should be MJF defending against a different pillar. You should tell these individual stories of MJF feuding with this person and MJF feuding with the next person. I don't care how you start it. I would say start it with Jungle Boy and get that shit out of the way.
How did I know that'd be your first pick? I knew that would be your first pick.
But my current dislike with the Jungle Boy character is just the Christian Cage feud, and that's it. I like Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus, I do. But that's where you can. But this is where you can bring Luchasaurus back and team him back up with Jungle Boy is through the MJF feud and MJF beating Jungle Boy, and then the following week on Dynamite, MJF coming out and insulting Jungle Boy yet again. And then Jungle Boy coming out to defend himself and MJF hitting him with the ring, knocking him out, and continue to brutalize Jungle Boy. You bring back Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus beats up MJF, realigns with Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus and MJF have a mini feud that happens in between pay-per-views. And then Luchasaurus can really beat the hell out of MJF for 1 week on Dynamite, but MJF pulls off the victory somehow. And then you can move MJF onto the Darby Allin feud and then bring the year to an end with MJF with the Sammy Guevara feud. But the Sammy Guevara feud could be used to actually fuel the JAS split and Sammy Guevara working a program with Jericho, because Jericho's approach to this whole thing will be very much Triple H and Orton and Triple H and Batista. I made you. I gave you everything. You were nothing without me. If you get this title, give it to me. And Sammy be like, I'm not doing that. And that's their breakup. That's the split of JAS. And then you can work a Sammy Guevara-Jericho feud. And then everyone goes on their separate ways, and everything's good. MJF ends the year still champion because MJF has to go into 2024 with the title. He can't drop it. The bidding war of 2024 has to happen with MJF as the AEW World Champion. Otherwise, it's not important.
That's I can see that.
It's got to be I'm going to take this belt and I'm going up north. It's got to be that story.
But my thing is, I don't think Tony thinks your way. Tony's just going to do something quick and fast. It's going to be a fatal four-way.
And then Tony Khan should probably help him.
I'm just thought I can see it now. How it started with what? Who came out? Jungle Boy first, then Sammy, then Davari. I'm telling you, from the way it looked like, this pay-per-view is going to be a fatal four-way. It's either fatal four-way.
But then that story ends so fast because MJF has to win.
Nah.
Then what? You do the fatal four-way and then roll it into the singles feuds?
I'm going to say after the fatal four-way, it's going to be another person from the beginning of AEW, the rookies, as they will call them, the rookies of AEW. It's going to be, if I had to guess, who hasn't had the championship belt that's there in the beginning? Call me crazy. It's going to be the one member of the Dark Order that just got resigned. I don't know if I forgot his name. It's the new one. He just resigned. Oh, God.
Stu Grayson?
There we go. That's it. That's my prediction right there.
Man, I really like Stu Grayson.
That's my prediction.
I think I met Stu Grayson in Pittsburgh.
Oh, you okay?
I think. And whenever I met Brian Cage, I met Stu Grayson. Pretty sure. Stu Grayson's an incredible talent. How do you?
I think they're going. This is what I think. Right now, AEW gonna start with not the legends like Jericho and all them. They're gonna start with the beginners that was there. So they're gonna start with people that ain't never held a championship belt. So this is where I think it's gonna start. They're gonna start with the not having your Orton, Cena's rotation like that over and over. They're gonna do it new, fresh. They want people to see that they can start off with new champions that never held the belt. That's why she's going there.
Do you think they're going to take that belt off of MJF this year?
I mean, you get a pretty good point. If he does go on, I say this: he lose it somewhere down the summertime, then bam, wherever next pay per view by the end of the year, where pay per view that is,
he wins it back.
He wins it back. Then contract starts in April or March? Which one is it?
I think March.
Okay.
Ish. Think.
So bam, we'll say January, New Year's, wherever, if it happens after New Year's or if New Year's starts. That's when he's gonna start talking his shit. Let the bidding war start.
So if I had the pencil, if I were booking this, I'm okay with the idea of pulling it off of him through the summer at some point in time. I don't necessarily care a whole lot of who it would go on to if we're telling the MJF story leading to 2024. If I had the pencil, I would have him drop it, and come November, December timeframe, he starts becoming very, very adamant about it. He can't have a rematch after he loses it. So it's going to come off and he gets no rematch. He needs to start becoming adamant that he wants his that he wants a shot at the title or he's leaving. Give him a shot at the title or I'm out. Contracts expire, and they should start telling the story that the contract expires at the end of the year. So 10 is December 31st. It doesn't matter, work us. Then who cares when it's really up? Just work everybody. It's fine. Start telling that story. If I don't get a title shot, I'm out. Gives him a title shot. He takes the belt off whoever, and while we're leading to this, I would be on the phone with WWE every week trying to negotiate MJF being in the Royal Rumble as AEW World Champion. Because the story needs to be not that he's threatening to leave, but that he leaves. Because you can't do the CM Punk pipe bomb of, well, I'm taking my title shot and I'm going to leave and I'm not going to defend this title. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't do it. Because you can't not deliver this. So he'd have to figure out them allowing MJF to show up at the Rumble as the AEW World Champion with the AEW World title and figure out some type of the real forbidden door and have a working relationship with WWE, if only for one night. I don't know how you make this mutually beneficial for WWE. I have no idea how Tony Khan does it because Tony Khan can't offer anything to WWE they need. AEW cannot be a benefit to WWE, but if they can figure out a way to get MJF able to enter the Rumble with their title,
it could be this. What if this year's Royal Rumble took place at the Jaguar Stadium? That's the only way it could happen.
Yeah, Tony Khan says you guys can use the stadium for free. That's it. I guess that's the hook. Yeah.
If it's in Florida, they at the Jaguar Stadium.
Free building to use. Go ahead and pack this thing with more fans than have ever attended a Jacksonville Jaguars game will show up for Royal Rumble. Because you figure if they can figure out a way to negotiate getting MJF into the Rumble while he's AEW World Champion, you would have more people in attendance at one WWE event for Royal Rumble to see what the AEW World Title looks like than every single fan counted for every single AEW pay-per-view they put on in the course of a calendar year. They put 60,000 people in Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium. That's more people than attend all the AEW pay-per-views combined.
Hey, that's the only way I see it happen. That's the best negotiation right there. Like, but I don't know where it's at this year. I really don't know where it's at. But that would be my prediction.
I mean, that'd be the way to do it. That'd be the only thing that they could offer that I think would be anything beneficial for WWE to save them a boatload of money that they don't have to pay to lease a building for a night.
I mean, they could do like.
We'll take care of the building. We'll also pay for your pyro if you let MJF be in the Rumble in Jacksonville. I guess that would be the way to do it, right?
That's the only way to do it. I mean, unless.
I don't know what else you could do. What did Tony Khan offer to Triple H and Vince McMahon? Unless it's by then he's already bought WWE. But that's a different conversation.
They want $1 billion for that.
The Khan family has the money.
I know, but I don't think they'll sell it to him. Really, I don't. I don't think they would sell it to Khan for $8 billion, $10 billion, because it would probably go down.
Don't get the brace truck and offer them $9 billion for it. You don't think they'd sell it to him? They'd have to.
They would have to sell it to somebody they know they can trust, that will make it be live on television and make it not look like boring or, you know.
So you think Tony Khan would make WWE boring? And I'm the guy who people think shits on AEW.
Look, we have our disagreements on some certain things, but sometimes it can flip-flop. Okay, sometimes we can flip-flop. Okay, look, let's put it that way.
I think the only way that Tony Khan could disrupt the course of WWE programming in its current state would be if Tony Khan's family bought WWE and he attempted to blend everything together as one and didn't let WWE operate the way it needs to operate, because I believe they are truly two very different businesses.
Can I say one thing, though, real fast? I just want to say a special shout out to my white sister who's watching right now. How you doing, sister? But yeah, that's the only thing that's going to happen.
No, we're twins. We're not identical twins, but
but yeah, that's the only way it's going to happen. I don't think Tony, it would not work out. It really wouldn't. Vinnie Mac wanted to go to somebody that knows exactly what they're doing, knows how to run.
Here's the thing. I don't know that he could. I think with the board of directors and it being a publicly traded company, even though he is primary shareholder, I think if somebody comes along and offers the selling and is willing to pay the selling price, and they're going to at least attempt to make the right call with the company, I think he would kind of have to go along with that. I mean, if the asking price is $8 billion and the Khan family offers him $9 billion, he'd be an idiot to not take it. And I don't think the board members, I certainly know shareholders, would not be happy if he didn't accept that money. A lot of people stand to become extremely more wealthy than they already are if Vince can sell this company for $8 to $9 billion. Now, whether he can or not, that remains to be seen. I actually think that I think the WWE is probably worth the $8 billion. They paid over $4 billion for the UFC, and that was not worth $4 billion.
Well, what they got? What, 4 pay-per-views a year? Like 4 major pay-per-views?
For what, UFC or WWE?
UFC. Don't they got like at least 5 major pay-per-views?
Oh, dude, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. You would think that we would know that, right? Yeah. I mean, you certainly think I would know that. I mean, I have a BKFC poster behind me. I think being the combat sports guy, I would know all about the UFC's events, and having, done MMA in the past, you would think I'd be able to keep up with it. Can't, because the UFC doesn't know how to make stars. They don't make compelling programming. There was a UFC event last night. You know that? There you go. A UFC title was defended last night. And almost nobody knows. Now, you have some hardcore casuals who have their ESPN Plus subscriptions and things like that. But I mean, very few, no one keeps up with the UFC anymore because Dana White, as much as Dana White believes he's Vince McMahon, and he really thinks he's a promoter, he's not a promoter. He's the guy who can book an arena and pay fighters to fight. He can't make a star.
Damn,
There are no stars in the UFC anymore other than Conor McGregor, and Conor rarely fighting.
you might have that pure, what's it called? Damn it. Drink. Yeah.
Proper 12 whiskey.
There we go. I had it.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. I didn't know there was a UFC card last night until I woke up this morning and seen the highlights on YouTube. And a title was defended. Leon Edwards defended his title. Didn't know the card was even taking place.
I thought the John Jones fight was the last one. That's why I didn't even bother.
Yeah, and I don't know. And John Jones is it's a whole nother story. I mean, that guy, he becomes the heavyweight champ of the world, and you're telling me he's the baddest man on the planet, but he fought a guy who didn't look like he wanted to be in the cage with him, who just kind of just let that victory just happen. John Jones never fought Francis. Francis never lost, so I don't think John Jones is really, you got people making, clickbait things of, Joe Rogan says that now John Jones is the GOAT, but I don't even see how that's possible. That he can never be the GOAT. He took 3 years off and came in and got a world title shot in a weight class he's never competed in. I don't see how that makes him the GOAT.
Well, ain't he like the longest UFC?
Yeah, but I mean, he's clearly a bad businessman to sit out for 3 years, to negotiate his contract and take what they offer him to be world champion of the heavyweight division that's probably at its weakest it's been since Tim Sylvia was UFC heavyweight champion. I mean, the heavyweight division of UFC is not comprised of the greatest fighters on the planet right now because Francis Ngannou's not there, and he's the last guy to win. You have the idea of the Stipe fight, which would be cool, I guess, if that happens, but I think that I don't think the Stipe Miocic John Jones fight will ever happen. I don't believe John Jones will ever sign that fight. I think we have a better likelihood of Brock Lesnar walking away from WWE after WrestleMania and signing for a one super fight deal with John Jones in the UFC than we have of John Jones signing to fight Stipe Miocic and that fight ever actually taking place.
It's going to take place. I say, if it did happen, it might happen in like probably summertime because
they're claiming it'll happen in July, but I don't think it'll happen.
I know because Brock got
will get hurt. He'll get in some kind of weird, situation. I'll be surprised that fight happens. I really hope it does. And I really, really, really want to see Stipe stop John Jones. I think that would be fantastic to see.
Damn.
Whether he will or not, that remains to be seen. But who knows?
That's right. Who knows?
So we touched on the beginnings of AEW Dynamite this week. That trios match, the titles.
That was good.
Really good match, right? What do you make of the ending?
Ooh. I'm just saying, the whole match was good itself, but the ending.
Are we going to tell the Hangman Page story again with the Elite?
It's hard to say because I thought they was going to jump him. I really thought they was going to jump Hangman when the way he was standing behind him. I thought they was going to jump him, but then I think it's going to be like another prediction. It's going to be a fatal another four-way, Elite.
Four-way trios?
Yeah. No. 4-on-4 match. The Elite, Hangman, and the Combat Club they'll find somebody for the fourth person. Their fourth person.
Yeah, they could pull somebody else in, Blackpool Combat Club to make them more. And I think they could bring back Bryan Danielson. His return could be a surprise entry in there.
I don't think they shouldn't do Daniel. Yeah, it should be somebody out of the blue that you least expect. Just somebody different.
Who would that be? Who would be a good added in?
Adam Cole.
Baby.
Adam Cole. Cause him and Paige don't get along very well. Him and Paige had the last fight before he left, didn't he? Where he had a little concussion.
I think so.
That could restart the feud right there.
I mean, you could bring him in there just as a filler. He couldn't be part of Blackpool Combat Club long term.
I know. I mean, just like a one-time thing.
But I mean, you have a problem there because Adam Page has the Elite affiliation. They were Bullet Club together.
I know. But remember, Adam Cole left the Elite.
I think the story to tell is the Elite wanting Adam Cole back into the fold with them.
But they with the Red Drag, he wanted to stay with the Red Dragons, and they both kind of got on, but they ain't gone.
I don't know what the deal with Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know what his contract was. He's been out, had a bunch of surgeries. I don't know if he was just a one-year deal. He may have just been a one-year deal.
I don't know. But it sounds like he's still under contract from what they say. But I don't know. I really don't know.
The Undisputed Era going to AEW, that was tragically a colossal flop. Which really sucks because, man, I like the Undisputed Era in NXT. When they were draped in gold and the black and gold era of NXT, that was good TV, man. That was good shit.
That's the only reason I watched it, because it was just fun just watching them come. I just liked them because they was like the headline of all the war games that started.
Yeah.
They was major stars of war. And they always won too.
I really hate that, them as a faction. I guess I don't hate it. I just wish more people could have got to see it and experience that, because a lot of people weren't watching NXT time because they weren't main roster WWE, even though they were better than main roster WWE. The Undisputed Era as a faction was really, really good.
It was.
I mean, like, really good. They had a good entrance music. They had, everything they did was solid. Their matches were so good. Adam Cole in NXT was so good. Him and Ricochet, that match where Ricochet hit the springboard moonsault off the middle rope and Adam Cole super kicked him while he was upside down.
That was good.
It was so good.
Even when Ricochet, even when Ricochet did a little flip off the rope and landed around his face, like standing right in front of him,
right
good too.
In front of Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. That was good, man.
Yeah. Anyone who wasn't watching that era of NXT really missed out. But I do think that they're going to tell a good story with Hangman again, because I think Hangman Adam Page is he always needs to be the story of AEW. I mean, the first 2 years of the company was the Hangman Adam Page story.
So are you saying that Hangman is the new Tommy Dreamer?
Yeah, man. I think that the CM Punk Hangman Page promo, where Hangman said he's the heart and soul of AEW, and Punk said, "You can be the heart and soul, I'll be the dollars and cents." And not only was that a good line, I think it's really relevant, the fact that I think Adam Page's story is the heart and soul of AEW. I mean, again, I think Cody booked it. I think Cody wrote that story. But I think the talent and Page coming up in the first 2 years of AEW, and the turmoil between him feeling left out with the rest of the Elite guys, and his journey to overcoming Kenny Omega and the title, I think it was a really great story. And I feel like this is probably something they can continue to come back to for the next couple of years in ways. Him and the Elite probably becoming friends again could be a good story to carry us through the summer. But then I don't know where you put things when Punk returns.
Well, I'll watch it.
If Punk returns. I said when Punk returns because CM Punk's going to return to AEW.
I just know this. I was watching the Renee podcast, which had Kenny Omega on there. It seemed like on Kenny's side, it's like things are okay with him and CM Punk from the way he made it sound like, but he probably just saying it on good terms.
Yeah, he made it seem like he's willing. I mean, I think he's willing to do business,
Yeah.
which I think I kind of feel like they should all be willing to do business because it's kind of like he made the reference about getting into an argument with teammates and still working together. I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, I don't think all your teammates bite you. I think that's a bit different, but I mean, friends fight, I guess. I don't know. But it's a different world, I guess. I don't know. I just think they're not going to let Punk out of his contract because they're not letting him go to WWE and talk shit about him. So they may as well keep him under contract. But I think he needs to return as the Ultimate Heel. I've seen that Dax said they're going to announce they've made their decision for what they're going to do with their contract in April.
I saw that too. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up. It's like
oh, they're staying with AEW.
It's because
AEW.
I would say the only way they could stay if they had a deal like the Good Brothers, and they could just go to any show if they want.
I think AEW is going to be very careful with that, with their talent, and not like guys do too much indie stuff. But I only think that they're going to stay because I've seen that Meltzer had put something out, kind of talk about wrestling companies and how they don't cover travel and hotels for talent unless they're outside the country. And Dax had commented that AEW is always taking care of them, and he's never been treated as well as he's been treated in AEW, and that's not going to be forgotten. And then he later did the thing where he put out that they've made their decision. So I think those two things are really walking hand in hand. I think they're staying in AEW. But with that, I think there's going to be an affiliation between them and CM Punk playing the heels through the summer.
And another thing is they have benefits through AEW. They ain't got through no third party. They got actual benefits.
And it seems like Tony takes care of all the guys in there. Like, you're not getting hurt and sitting out, and there's no money. There's no, he's going to throw in the extra time at the tail end of your contract like everybody does, but I think he's at least taking care of these people.
They get like a 2-week paycheck like everybody else, like a normal job.
But yeah, I think they're going to tell the Hangman story. I think we're getting the Hangman story part 2, and I'm down for that. What do you think of SmackDown?
It was good. They're back together. I knew it was a matter of time. I knew they're going to get back together.
So the reconnecting of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I really wish we would have got a good blood feud match between those two, which I think we will still get sometime this year. I don't know how we circle back to the breakup again, but I think we're going to get there. But the fact that Cody Rhodes is the catalyst for this, do you feel like they're working on something in the background for Cody's heel turn? That scene of KO and Sami Zayn hugging in the ring and Cody watching a monitor at a very strange angle, like they love to make fun of on being the elite, which is still comical whenever Cody does it. Mm-hmm. Cody's smiling. Is that foreshadowing? Was he smiling because he was happy to see friends reconnect? Or was he smiling because he designed it for those friends to reconnect? And if so, why?
I'm going to say both. It's like he's happy that they back together and happy that he talked them into it somehow. Like, he just, said, I need Kevin to come out, Sammy, both of y'all come out and just work things out. Get back together. But I see it as if Cody is just trying to be the good guy that makes everything come back together as one. Cody just wants them to be together so that at WrestleMania he'll have somebody, well, two people that have his back in case the bloodline interferes in the match. Because they are fighting day one, Cody's day two. So come day two, they'll have enough time to get rested up because their little battle they had the night
You
before.
think the one the Usos versus KO and Sammy for the titles? Do you think the Usos are dropping the tag titles to Sami Zayn and KO?
I don't think that. I don't see them as a tag team. Tell you the truth,
Right?
Sammy and KO, they are like.
I mean, they've done
I
it.
mean, they like.
Right? I mean, they've done it here and there.
Yeah,
El Generico and Kevin Steen were a good tag team.
yeah, but
Better enemies.
they are better as enemies than as tag team partners. That's just my thing. Because you gotta think about it. It's like every time they're together.
How are they going to take down the bloodline? That's the whole thing, right? They're reunited to take down the bloodline. So you got to have them. You got to have them go to tag titles.
I just don't see it. Like I just see Solo Sikoa stopping them from getting the belts. I see if they did do it, it would have to be in a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell. That's the only way.
Well, we can't have another Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. We're already going to burn that with Edge.
Yeah.
They could do a ladder match or a TLC match with them. I think that would be the way to have those titles be defended at Mania. If it's going to be KO and Sammy against the Usos, maybe I think a TLC match would be a really good way to do it, or a ladder match. Something where they have the opportunity to try to steal the show, especially night one. Because night one has a trash main event, so.
If they're gonna, I would say it has to be
Night one's going to have a Hell in a Cell match that isn't going to be the main event, so.
that's night one.
Pretty sure that's going to be night one. Yeah, I think the Hell in a Cell is going to be night one. So you're going to have a Hell in a Cell match that isn't main event, so.
Then that's probably gonna be the first match. Then the Hell in a Cell.
I'm interested to see how long Edge can do a Hell in a Cell match. Him and Randy Orton went for 35 minutes, so how long can him and Finn Balor go? I think 22 of the 35 minutes was them walking down hallways, but they went for 35 minutes.
I see it like this. They said Triple H is trying to make every match not long, but kind of short. So I'll give it 25 minutes.
I think he'll do at least a 20 Hell in a Cell. I just don't know, I don't know what they're going to do in the Hell in a Cell match. I hope it's Demon Finn. I really do. I hope it's Demon Finn and Brood Edge. I hope Edge can get Gangrel, come out with him. That'd be kind of cool. I feel like this is gotta be. I mean, this is certainly Edge's last Mania. I feel like this should probably be Edge's retirement match.
Nah. The retirement match is gonna be this summer when they go back to Canada at that World Pay-Per-View. That's his last match. It's like what, August, like September, August, one of them.
They really should have put off this Hell in a Cell. I don't. He might do a match there, but I bet this will be the retirement, and maybe he'll do one comeback or just come back and say goodbye. But if you're having the Hell in a Cell match in the feud another feud that just won't end. At least, man,
I mean,
kind of been better than Christian's never-ending feud in AEW with Jungle Boy. We did get the spooky kids from Hot Topic cosplaying Purple Undertaker, so I guess we got that out of Edge's return. But otherwise, his return's been kind of a dud. I think you can blame Edge for the pandemic, really. Edge came back at the Rumble 2 months later. The country was shut down.
Yeah.
Might be Edge's fault.
I mean, He did fight Randy Orton for like 36 minutes at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I feel like they opened Pandora's box. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this progresses with KO and Sammy and the Usos because they're going to have to do that tag match. I hope they do something so those guys can work to steal the show. Since I know I'm not going to get my dream of it being the New Day taking the belts off of the Usos because Kofi's out for a minute.
2 months, I think he said 2-3 months.
Yeah. And Big E has no timeline, so it's not going to be. It should have been the New Day who took the titles off of the Usos, but that's not going to be the case. So it's going to have to be Sammy and KO. And if they're not any way that goes, this match should be a TLC match at Mania.
But TLC, they need a third tag team just to make the TLC go good. That's just my opinion. Every TLC match always had 3 teams, and they need.
It could be a ladder match. Let's just do just a ladder. Edge and Christian and the Hardys had a good ladder match at Mania.
I know, but
it doesn't have to be trios to be TLC. Be just two good teams.
Yeah, but
who's your third team?
Well, they ain't really got third tag team.
Man, they don't have 3 tag teams, man. They're breaking up Alpha Academy.
No, Alpha Academy, they fighting.
Yeah.
Alpha, Street Profits, Viking Raiders.
You know what? Put the Street Profits in there. Do a TLC match. Street Profits, KO and Sammy against the Usos.
Yeah, but the Street Profits, they in a fatal 4-way tag team match, whatever, at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are doing that. That's dumb.
Like 4 or 5 tag.
It's a good match, but stupid. I really like Street Profits.
I know. They should be in it, but right now, I don't know.
All I know is everyone's going to have their hands full that weekend trying to steal the show because my guy Omos is going to be stealing the show. Well, he shuts down the beast, Brock Lesnar.
Well, I just hope and pray that their match go longer than 5 minutes. That's all. I just hope it's longer than 5 minutes. If it's longer than 5 minutes, I'm cool. I'll be great.
It'll probably
if they go to 10,
it's not gonna be a 10-minute match, man.
If it goes to 10, I'll be impressed if it makes the 10 minutes.
We sadly stand the possibility of Brock showing up and saying he wants to go on first and he doesn't want to do more than 5 minutes. Like he did that one year at Mania.
Oh, with Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins, where he showed up and said, I want to get out of here early so I can catch an earlier flight, so put me on first.
Well, I heard something different about that.
What did you hear?
I heard that Brock said he didn't think it was right for him and Seth to go the second to last match, because it'll mess up what the main match of that night. The Undertaker and Roman? Yeah, Undertaker Roman.
Was that Taker Roman? I don't know, that wasn't Taker Roman.
Yeah, it was Taker Roman.
May have been.
It was Taker and Roman. Because he said it would ruin their match if they went on next before them. So he wanted to get theirs out the way first so they'll have something to keep the fans entertained.
The story I always heard of that was that Brock showed up that day and said he wanted to catch an earlier flight, so he told him to put him on first or he wasn't doing the match. Because that was whenever he was negotiating a contract situation.
Yeah.
So he was doing what Brock does, but that's the story. That's the way I heard that story told. Yeah. I don't know if it's actual.
I heard that one too, but I just heard that one recently because they brought it up recently. That's why I
heard it back then, and somebody else was talking about it recently. I think that's why it's made its rounds again. But I heard it back then that they were not to be the first match, and Brock showed up and said he wanted to go out first because he wanted to catch an earlier flight.
I can see that.
I think the way I originally heard it was he was wanted to catch an earlier flight out, and he was claiming he was meeting with someone within the UFC at the time.
Oh.
I don't. It's wrestling, so it could all be a work.
Yeah. But that's what I heard. That's why I just recently read a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
You got any predictions for Raw tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night it is Roman and another Cody face to face. Since Roman's gonna be there. Would Roman fight somebody? It's a toss up.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I don't think Roman's wrestling anybody till Mania.
I would say Austin Theory is still gonna be talking shit about him and Cena's fight, that he gonna retire Cena. Seth Rollins.
Is he not do any more? Is he gonna be on any shows before Mania? We have 2 more for Mania, right? I mean, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks till Mania. Is Cena showing up at all or no?
I think it's gonna be the last Monday. That Monday he'll be there because he's doing his whatever that script he's doing right now.
That's a bummer. I wanted Cena to have more opportunities to really just cut great promos on Austin Theory. And I'm an Austin Theory fan. I think, whenever you thought he was being buried with that cash in, I said they were just giving him an opportunity to do something better. I think Austin Theory could learn a lot getting destroyed in promo battles by John Cena, just like I think Roman Reigns did.
Hey, Roman Reigns said that helped him out because if that didn't happen, he would not be the tribal chief today.
And he's absolutely right.
He's right.
John Cena just took Roman Reigns to school, and I think that he could do the same thing with Austin Theory, and Austin Theory to be even better as if we look 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, whenever Austin Theory is the main event guy. I think he could stand to benefit from what John Cena could do to him with live mics and no script.
I'm just gonna say, Theory's my guy. He's gonna be the next one.
Now Theory, you thought he was getting buried, man.
Hey, I said Theory was my guy. I like the fact that he was getting buried in the beginning because I like the cocky heels when they first come out. They cocky, but then later on, I know a heel when I see one. I like the guy. I even when he had a little phone, I liked him. Still liked him.
We were fans of Austin Theory first, Joe. You were saying he was buried, and his cash in was a failed attempt, and we were like, no, Austin Theory's gonna do good things.
I just said I didn't like the way he cast it in. That's just my opinion. I didn't like that part.
That's about how it was trash.
I mean, it could have went better. Like, why the U.S. title? I don't know, but hey, it could have went better.
Top Scar said he prefers to watch Theory than Roman Reigns.
But
And I like Roman. I like the tribal chief Roman Reigns.
I know.
A couple years ago, Roman Reigns bad TV. Seth was full of suffering succotash. It was bad creative.
Hey, he messed the words up, so he had to come up with something real fast.
I think that was written. I think that was the promo.
You think?
So I think that was the promo. Someone in creative wrote that and gave that to him. And said, you're gonna say this.
Okay, I just thought it was like a little slip up, like sucker in, like yeah.
I think the character we have for Roman Reigns now is just very much who he is. And I think anytime we ever got to see that before was always much better than what they were scripting for him and writing for him and giving him. I think Paul Heyman has a huge hand in everything that's happened with Roman Reigns now. And I think that just makes everything infinitely better. I wish that Paul could have his hands in more. But I think once he splinters out too much, like whenever they would give him a show, outside of whenever he was running SmackDown in the early 2000s, I think now if he's doing a little bit more, things become a little bit too distracted and he's got his hand on too many things. If you can focus on one guy in one situation, and him and Michael P.S. Hayes handling everything with the bloodline, I think is really, really good.
Mm. Yeah, I just think I think Paul Heyman is running SmackDown somehow, but he's doing it and being on the Tribal Chief side at the same time. You gotta think about it. Like, he'd rather produce a 2-hour show than a 3-hour show.
The Chaps Cars think there's no way Cody can win clean at this point.
See?
Maybe that's it. Maybe Cody's building a faction that way he can make sure he wins at Mania and have some outside help. I don't think Cody wins at Mania.
I told you.
Yeah, I really.
They're going for the 1,000 day. I'm telling you, it's a 1,000-day mark.
As much as I want Cody to win, I want Cody to be the champ. I think that Cody doesn't have to be the guy who beats Roman Reigns, and I think it's better for Roman Reigns to break 1,000 days as champion than it is for Cody Rhodes to win the world title at this year's WrestleMania. I think if Cody doesn't win this year, I don't think you have Cody win until next year's Mania. I think you can have Cody lose to Roman. Roman hits 1,000 days. You pull the belt off Roman at some point in time, and then you can get to. I mean, Seth can take it off Roman. Then Cody can lose Rumble and make his way to. I think Cody should be last 2 in the Rumble next year, and then lose it, and then win an Elimination Chamber or something to throw him into the title picture. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Cody wins this year. At least today, I don't think so. Tomorrow, I could change my mind.
Nah, I'm keeping it. They're going for the 1,000 days. They are definitely going for 1,000 days.
Do you foresee any type of surprises tomorrow night on Raw? Anything crazy, or we're just going to just start running the course on the road to WrestleMania?
They're just going to run it. I'm going to say it's the Raw after Mania. It's going to get the biggest surprise ever. It's always that.
It's going to be Jay White.
I don't know. I really don't know.
If Cody wins at Mania, Jay White's going to debut Raw after Mania and challenge Cody. That'll be our SummerSlam. The problem is I don't know how you introduce a WWE crowd, Jay White. I don't know how you tell the story.
You don't. You just know.
You just hope they Google it?
No, you just hope when they do a little screen on the board, how they just don't show who it is. They just give like little hints at who it could be, and then bam, his name pops up like, what, 30 seconds after it?
I mean, you always do a video recap, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
But, well, I think we're going to kill it here, Joe. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. Everyone check us out live on Instagram. We do appreciate it. We will be uploading this. You'll be able to find it. It'll be in our feed. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be uploaded to Spotify here shortly. But thank you, everyone, for checking out the Don't Say the F Word podcast. I'm Jeremy. That's Joe. And I'm Mark. I'm a monster. And, yeah, guys, we're the Don't Say the F Word podcast. Thank you for checking us out.
Check it out. See y'all next week.
Later.
Later.